I was just feeling the air, and it's quiet, pristine nature. See, a few sounds. Develop your pristine nature, your clear nature, your true self. And that's a challenging thing to do because the mind is so strong. It is said that it's harder to control the mind than a hurricane. And it's relentless, and as you know, and there are mental institutes because of the mind. It's called a mental institute. And there's so many things that affect the mind and people's perception, their reality, what they do, with all of these so-called enhancement drugs. Every time you do those, you lose some of your power because you give it to this in a convoluted way. People say, well, I want to enhance my abilities. I'll be a super person and I'll be this. And people that tout that, the next human, what's wrong with the real, truly divine person that we are beyond the human body? Even though the human body may be a reflection of our own true divine body, because I have seen my divine body. It's absolutely gorgeous. And because in that moment the veil was dropped and I had spiritual vision. If you take a look at any of those moments, those clairaudio or supernatural experiences, there's like windows that open for us to get a glimpse of what's truly available to us and who we are and these abilities that we have and the real vision and clarity of the divine and all of that. So anyway, what is a challenging thing when you're with, and it was kind of one of the things when I said about what would you say, disowning my family members, and that meant disowning everybody, disowning the cat and the dog, because I'm not the owner. And why that owner is because then I have to be controlling others to make sure they do what I want, and they act like I want, and they don't hurt me, and they give me what I need, and then they're controlling me about what I do, and because then people have this consciousness, not that God is their source and supply, but other people are their source and supply. And so that when people go through experiences, and let's say, in your baby days or children days, and these events that are there. Well, I remember like one of my daughters, I cut her hair at one point when she was little because I wanted her hair to thicken, and also it was hard to take care of, and it was adorable, but that was big for her. And that cut her hair. Well, she cuts her hair now and all that sort of thing, but what is it? They glitch on the hair because they're still saying, I don't know that she does that, but I'm saying this is an example. People, well, when you did that to me, now when was that? And a person is still there and still using that as abuse of some kind, where it wasn't intentioned that way. And yet I probably could have done it in a different way, and I might have asked her, but I didn't. But anyway, I'm a mom, and I'm thinking about what the thing. So your intention was pure and good, but the way they interpreted it had nothing to do with what your intention is or intention was. Because in every action, in every relationship, in every situation, you're not just talking to a volcanic rock here, devoid of vegetation on it, because on volcanic rocks no moss grows or anything like that, because it's processed. And so you're not just there, they have a full accompaniment of every experience, since they've been in the timeline game, you see, locked into this. Either who knows, lost a game or did it, but you are the solution, okay? And so that's what may I say, you're meeting all that in every situation. And when you go around these people, you might be as clear as can be because you free yourself of all that. You're in the moment, and when you're fully in the moment, you don't have baggage. Like, you have energy, vitality, creativity, and all of this because it's who you are. All these other things are layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. People say, I'll never forget that. Oh, I did that, and you did that, and you got it. So these people are just covered and covered. Not that you're not aware, not, of course you're aware of all these kind of things, but and then when you're around them, you feel it. If you're an empath, and all of us are, basically, you can feel it, you sense it, you know it, it's there, it's uncomfortable, and you can see it and read it. That's why I don't want to be around that, because they haven't dealt with their stuff. And it's their stuff, not my stuff. And when you are developing your clarity is power, because you're not seeing through a glass darkly, you're perceiving clearly as to the cause. And one of the things I love, of course, I've talked about Russell and his work, and he was the man who tapped the secrets of the universe, and it's so, everybody can. He's not saying you can't. See, if anybody does it, so can you at those levels. And it's also any kind of spiritual teaching. If it's teaching you something that you cannot do, it's bogus, because what's the point? Okay, so here comes the wind. Just on that one. Yeah, with the wind, clear out all of that debris, because all the stuff you're holding, you're suffering from it and wanting everybody else to suffer from it. Why? If you need to communicate, get clarity on it, but it's always the mind. The mind is not set up as your best friend. If you want to make it your friend, you don't need a mind. You can call it divine mind if you need that word desperately, but you have all capabilities, and you're not a computer, and you never will be unless you agree. Agreement creates reality. So when you take a stand for yourself in the clarity of it, you're not there to upset, challenge, criticize. A lot of people are having to sign something. They're not going to criticize some country, or they won't get their money or their job. You want to know who rules you? It's those you cannot criticize. Why? Because they're hiding something. They don't want that backlash. Total control, you see, in every area of life. So when you're clear about who you are, you can perceive where people are, and there's some people you do not want to be around. Why? Because they're just like reeking cesspools of stuff that isn't happening now, that probably never happened, but made up it happened in some way, promoted that it's happened, or believe it could happen, and they're just this walking, what would you say, violation of truth. They're a walking violation of truth. Bing, 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 bing. Whoosh, gather your stuff. Go into yourself. You be the clear vessel, the hollow bamboo, through which the divine expresses in eternal magnificence. That's you. It's great.